This podcast contains adult language and adult subject matter that may be inappropriate or triggering for some individuals. Listener discretion is advised. Hey. Hello. But what do you think you're going to be for Halloween? Because the true OG Halloween people know it does not. You don't just plan in October what you're going to be. You start planning before October because you need time to get the silliness out of you and then get realistic and get serious.
My toxic trait is never having any ideas for a Halloween costume until the day after Halloween.
That pisses me off. You see, that pisses me off. Because I know, because I've already started even before.
And I always forget to put it in a note on my phone. I've searched my notes so many times because I'm like, I have to have started a list by now. And then I search it and I'm like, oh, shit.
I've even started, that's what I'm saying. You need time to get the silliness out of you though. Because I told Bri, I was like, we should be Beavis and Butthead. Because I don't know, I thought it would be fun. I'm a haha. Fun.
She really wants to. And I'm sorry to anybody that likes them.
I mean, they're really annoying, but I was like think of the costume contest. And that's where the competitive nature is in me. Because I'm like, Halloween should just be a fun time. But I'm like...
very outdated. Oh, maybe in the 90s, it would have been a solid fucking costume.
You don't think anybody knows who Beavis and Butthead is anymore?
You know what? That's my other issue, is that I never go... I always think I want to do
You're
topical.
Thinking of other people. Though
I always want to do topical and think I want to do something like current, but then I always end up, because I always leave it last minute because that's who I am as a person, I always just end up going, I'm like, okay, what do I already have? Glasses, my hair's kind of like this right now. Who kind of looks like this? You just build it out.
Yeah, you build it around other people and you need to like
I build it literally around myself and who I already kind of look like.
Like you go for easy.
Velma,
right?
Daria. I've been both of those, and those some of my favorite costumes.
My friend and I were Jay and Silent Bob last year, and that was so funny to me. I was so the comfiest I've ever been as well.
It's so weird that you asked that though, because literally, like moments ago, I had an idea and I didn't write it down, but I really was just thinking about Halloween costumes. Oh my God, it was funny too.
Was it with me?
There was a lot of options. I felt like it was something. It was probably drag related.
Okay. Trixie.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to, but nobody gets that makeup right except for Trixie. Damn it. I wish I could remember what it was. Hopefully it'll come back to me and I will write it in a note on my phone.
Currently.
Yes,
and I don't know if this is the silliness in me. So I'm trying to figure it out. And I think you know what I'm going to say. I really want to be Jesus and carry a box of box wine because do you guys get it? You guys get it?
Oh, I love that.
Water into wine, babe.
I love that for you.
It's so funny. And I'm like, Jesus was short. Jesus was short. And it's not like unheard of for Jesus to be short.
Yeah,
a lot of people think that. Who am I trying to convince? Other than me, right?
I'm not fighting you.
I'm like, fine. So yes, but no. And I think it'll be really funny. And but I think of the costume contest I could win, and I feel like that'll put me in line with the people that I'm like, your humor is my humor. Mm-hmm. So we should be friends. I'm talking to you, Fred Armisen.
I love that, and I think you'd make a lot of friends because you have free wine.
Yeah, that is also a great way to... It's shady. I won't lie. It's a little shady, but I think I look trusting. I'm Jesus, for Christ's sake. You're going to say no to Jesus?
You're going to tell me I'm wrong?
Right? Thank you. I was hoping. I was planting a seed for you. I was like, if she's a real bitch, she'll pick this up.
Oh, it's my favorite.
And you didn't disappoint me.
I love that for you. I think that's a great costume. It's also an easy one.
It's easy. It's funny. It's like my top one, but
I also love putting facial hair on women.
And you can do it.
That's one of my favorite things.
And I don't have to grow. I don't have to do much with my hair. I mean, I should wear a wig because I'm a blondie.
I was gonna say wasn't it darker hair, but do we really know?
Do we?
Also, God is a woman, so the accuracy is of the utmost importance.
What do you think the roomies are going to be?
I don't know. Please tell us.
Do you guys want to tell us?
Please
and
tell
also,
us.
welcome back.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
We've missed you. And we want to know what you want to be for Halloween.
Yeah, what are you going to be for Halloween? Tell us.
Oh my God.
Okay. So we've been talking about it, and we might have to start a drinking game.
So great for you.
Drink responsibly.
You're gonna be drunk pretty quick. So,
But also, did I make this a note at least? Let's see.
yes, you wrote them down.
Because we already have some things that
So in editing the episodes, Bri
I've learned a lot.
has realized, and from listening to them, we've realized we say a lot of things at the same time.
Yeah.
Like we have each other's thoughts. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, anytime I talk about utilities.
When we talk about utilities.
Because they fucking piss me off. They're so expensive.
When we say the same thing at the same time. Mm-hmm. When we say compromise.
Oh my God, our favorite word.
And when we say boundaries.
Yeah.
And at this point, probably also when we say vulnerable.
At this point, you might... are you blacked out by now?
Yeah, please be careful.
Seriously, drink responsibly. Don't go anywhere. But we're so happy you're back.
Don't leave. Do not drive after that.
Oh, we're not going to let you. Give me your keys.
Yeah, you're home, so there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So...
I locked the door.
Welcome. In case this is your first time with us, I'm Bri.
I'm Abby.
And we're your rent-free roommates. Thanks for coming. Again, I feel like I need to say I hope we didn't scare you away.
Thank you for coming. We're going to proceed to kill you. It's like fucking Shining.
Accidentally.
Come play with us forever and ever and ever. Anyway, you can live with us forever. And you can leave too, but you won't want to.
And so that you don't forget, you can subscribe.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Do you want to know where? You can do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Because we're everywhere. Why are we so creepy this episode?
I don't know. It just keeps going out. We're really not
We really
trying.
like it. Oh, one thing about Bri and I, we will commit to a bit. And I think that's what's happening. So we'll stop if you're feeling weird about it.
Consciously, not even trying this
It's
time.
just us.
But yes, please subscribe and come back and listen to us more. We're not always this creepy unintentionally.
Unless you like it. No. God damn it. I'm still doing it. God.
And also, if you want to write us, even if you want to write us to tell us to stop.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
And the place you can do that is at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com. Or again, if you are that person and you gotta like it, let us know. But
We also have social media. We have Instagram and Facebook. We are Rent-Free Roommates everywhere except for Twitter. I think this is the first time I've actually said this. Twitter, we're Rent-Free Roomies because Roommates was too long. I ran out.
oh, I didn't know there was a cap.
Fuck you, Twitter.
Stop. You're
Gotta be
talking about my boyfriend, girlfriend. Depends on the mood I'm in. Really, truly. To look at my feed, you'd be confused. I don't know.
We welcome everybody here.
Yeah. I mean,
We love you all.
I just need to find people I like
Truly.
more than anything. And at
Yeah.
this point, it doesn't matter
It's
who.
not easy. Lately, it's not men. For me.
No.
I'll tell you that.
She said, it's a no from me. That's kind of what I feel like this episode is about, though.
Oh, really?
It's definitely the submissions we have today are very sex and relationship.
Oh, perfect.
And what better than two women who obviously have
Have a
been
lot of sex.
so much sex, so many relationships.
I like, oh, guys, I'm like, I got so many
I gotta
relationships
change
right
my
now.
phone number like every week. So many. And
Like,
people who have been in
can't even
relationships
count.
say that.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like the people who kind of like the ones who don't have the most experience in that usually end up giving the best advice though, because they're not full of all the bullshit. And sorry to you.
But also, we're just sitting on the sidelines watching it all.
Well, you see so much, yeah, and you're just like take notes, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna do that one. So maybe we're the best ones for the job because we know
We've seen
everything.
it all, and we've seen it from the outside, so we're unbiased.
Yeah. But that's not to say we're crotchety old women either. Like, we've definitely been involved. Sorry. Like,
Maybe someday.
with the way things are looking, it's a huge possibility. The forecast.
If I grow up to be a witch, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Well, that would be the dream, really.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not a witch, that'll be.
I just want to be the Sanderson sisters.
That'll be the failure, I think, in my eyes.
And to my understanding, you can't be married to be a witch.
No?
I don't know why that's no. I'm not saying that like it's a thing. It's just for some reason that's where my mind went when I was like, if I grow up to be a witch, because that's what I automatically assume if you're just single forever. I'm like, okay, well, witch. Doesn't have to make sense to anybody but me.
I bet you guys are on the edge of your seat waiting what she has to give it. So let's get into it. I'm curious now. This lady knows.
I hope so.
Witch. Oh my god. I'm sick. Like,
I'm sick of you.
Please leave
but
me
I'm
alone.
Not. And never leave me.
I don't even get it. To be honest. And I never realize it.
We share the same brain.
I sigh like I don't love it though. Like I'm over here severely inconvenient. Like I don't light up like a kid on Christmas every time. I'm like, we said the same thing. Okay. So, girlfriend, 27, and I, 26 male, have completely different aspects of sex and relationships. As the title says, my GF and I have the complete opposite view on sex and other things in a relationship. I started noticing this because every time after sex, I felt a deep connection and I want to cuddle and caress her, hold her a little. On the other, every time after sex, she always tries and gets up as soon as we are done, puts her clothes on, and bam. Like nothing ever happened, and immediately talks about something else like, ugh, tomorrow I have work. She's told me in the past multiple times without me asking that I am genuinely the best sex she's ever had, and that every time we have sex, that those moans have never come out of her with anyone before, and she comes a lot with me. So every time we have sex, I feel like I am connected to her, and she does seem like she's crazy over me during sex, but as soon as it's done, it's like, okay, thank you for that. So I end up feeling kind of crappy after sex every time. I decided to ask her about this. I asked her if she felt a connection when we have sex, and she said, no, sex is just sex. It's like scratching an itch, and it's great because I have a boyfriend to scratch that itch. I stayed quiet because, of course, I felt super shitty. I've always been a hopeless romantic, and to me, sex is a special thing, and it's part of how I show a person how much I love them. To my girlfriend, it's just purely because she's horny, and we ended up having a conversation about it, and she's told me how she's had one-night stands, and that is just for physical pleasure. Now, I feel like just another guy. I could never have one-night stands. I understand people have different views, and I'm not holding that against her. I just can't help but feel this way. I can't stop thinking about this. I'm not sure if I can even have sex with her going forward, to be honest. When I asked if I can have a little bit of reassurance, all she said was, stop overthinking it, which did not help. I'm not sure how to get over this bump. It's eating at me. I told you when I read this one that it was a heavy one.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're going to want to... This one makes you ponder a lot because I feel like...
I wish they were here because I have questions.
100%. I feel like those so stereotypically and without thinking, I mean, I feel like that's just the way society has raised us is to always feel like the woman's going to be the more emotional one and the one that doesn't want the connection. So I feel like it just throws you for a loop for a quick second in some regard. But
yeah, and I mean, it's not unheard of for the women to be distant too, but the actions, my question halfway through, and then I remembered that they were referring, I believe, to each other as boyfriend, girlfriend. Mm-hmm. My question was going to be, are they dating? That was like halfway through. I was like, wait a minute. Are they dating? Is these one night stands that she's talking about current? Are they in an open relationship? Like, I have so many questions because
it does make you think.
That's how, to me as well, she's coming off, is that she doesn't seem committed.
No, she doesn't. And that's Where my question for him is, I wonder how much they knew each other before they got into the relationship, because, well, I wonder how much they knew each other or how well they knew each other before they got into the relationship, because even in the relationship, she's pretty comfortable just kind of leaving you high and dry right afterwards. So I wonder if maybe that was something you knew ahead of time. And if so, I'm curious if what has changed to where, I mean, obviously feelings have gotten into it now, and
I am glad that you had that you brought it up.
100%. That makes me really happy, because you're letting your needs be spoken. And that's where I'm kind of talking about, I wonder if you knew this getting into the relationship, that they have a completely different love language than you do.
Yep.
And I think you're realizing that this is definitely something that bugs you, because that's really important to you. And I mean, it's your love language. Of course it would be. And when it's not being met, it feels like absolute shit. So
yeah, I do have big issue with how she said, don't think too much into it.
Yeah, that
She's
was
really shooting down your feelings.
Oh, 100%. I did not like that.
That's not okay.
It wasn't. And that's really unfair, because you're literally just expressing your needs and how they're not being met, and you weren't asking for her to do a complete 180 in her nature. You were asking for reassurance, and if you could maybe hear something other than just the physical aspect of the sex, of like, yeah, you make me come, that's wonderful, that's great, a lot of guys can make me come, that's not, and you can, a lot of girls can make you come, that's not really something that you're looking for. You want something deeper, and it's really unfair for them to just be like, stop. Like, you're in a relationship, and I would think that and hope that if you're in a relationship with somebody, you care if you're not meeting their needs.
Yeah.
And it's really disappointing to know that that's how they responded to that. And I think that's a little bit of a red flag, and something you should look a little bit deeper into. I mean, if they're not willing to understand what you need to feel happy and secure, that's a little bit concerning to me.
Right. You can both have differing views on sex, but if this is
how it's approached.
Yeah. If this is a relationship and she's not willing to hear you out, and kind of, not that she has to completely change how she feels or how she views sex and change everything about her to how you feel, but it's a two-way street. Like we've said so many times, get ready to drink. You should compromise. There should be a compromise. 'Cause you have voiced your feelings and your concerns, and from what it sounds like, she really did just like shoot them down. So is discussion over? Is she okay with just continuing on like this, and knowing that you
are hurting?
Yeah, and that you're not feeling fulfilled. But she, and I mean, also the way I feel about it, I think she has a lot to unpack, because sex, no, it doesn't always have to mean everything or mean anything, but I would hope that once you're in a relationship, that's kind of where the better sex happens, because you are getting to know each other on a deeper level. Yeah. And it isn't just surface level sex, you know?
I agree.
There could be something that she's really kind of
projecting,
but also protecting herself from, and not letting herself get any deeper with how she feels, or that, I mean, she's literally physically like jumping away from it, in that you try to let the emotions in, and you try to, cuddle and things like that, which is great. If that's what you enjoy, that's fantastic. And you should be in a relationship where that's something that both people enjoy, or where even maybe if there's somebody who just isn't at that level, that their physical affection is not at the top of their list for their love languages, then is that something that they can kind of compromise on and let in a little bit, where it's like, okay, it's a bit much for me to do it all the time, or like for this long, but I do like doing it for a little bit. I'm just not used to this kind of level of physical affection. And then working together on like, okay, where is that comfortable window? But if she's just going to continue to be like, no, that's not for me, I don't care, boyfriend, bye. Like, I don't like the way she's approaching this.
I don't. And I wonder, and I wish what you said earlier, that we had them here to talk, because I want to know what the rest of the relationship looks like too. Yeah. Like, is the only time that you want to be affectionate after sex? Because if so, I could like see myself being a little irritated. Not saying that that's the reason that this is, but I would just be curious what the relationship looks outside of the bedroom as well. And if she's, if she is dismissive of your feelings and other needs with that too. I think that's also something to look at for the both of you. Are you maybe just not as compatible as you thought you were when prior to the relationship? And I mean, that's kind of the whole point of a relationship, is meeting people, getting to know them, and seeing if they're a good fit for you, if this is a good time for them. Maybe it could be the right person, wrong time sort of thing. But the whole point of that is finding what's right for you. And I don't think this is maybe sounding the best for the both of you at this moment. Like Bri said, maybe she has something a little bit more to unpack and explore. Or do you want to help her with that? Because that's also something, is, do you care for this person enough to want to understand why they have that opinion?
Yeah.
Because that's something that, that's what a relationship also is. Or it could be something where you two just aren't compatible human beings and it's just not going to work. But right. I feel like only you can make that decision moving forward. So you can either, and I make it sound like you can either do this or you can do that. No, it's not that black and white.
Right. Because, I mean, God forbid, it could be a reaction from somebody crossing the line, or too many people crossing the line too many times, that she's really kind of built this wall or kind of created this shell around her to protect her from getting too close, which makes sense in dating. That's just why I'm so confused.
Maybe how long this relationship has been too.
Yeah.
How new is it? Oh my God.
It's too many times in one episode. We are the same person. But no, I agree. I just have so many questions because...
And I feel like I was quick to judge, because I feel like that came from a place of judgment where I'm like, why is she being so mean to you at first? But
I felt that too. And it takes a minute to...
start to be like process and unpack.
From? Yeah.
Because I felt like I was really harsh in the beginning, but I felt like I was just expressing the initial emotion.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's normal to react in a way when you feel like somebody's being silenced or that their feelings are just being completely disregarded, to, just kind of get defensive and be like, hey,
yeah,
let them feel.
I feel like
Hear them out.
Yeah, I really want to know more here. Are you two on the same page of the relationship?
Was sex the first thing that kind of brought that to the forefront? And I think you guys have to, there's more conversations to be had, because we need to figure out if you guys are on the same page as far as a relationship.
Yeah, say love language more than anything too, because I mean, it sounds like no matter the timeline of this relationship, which to be honest sounds a little bit on the fresher side to me. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe, but you have to understand, I mean, in your past relationships, have you ever dealt with somebody who didn't have the same love language as you? And if so, were you able to compromise? Is this something that you can't compromise on? Because that's also what you kind of need to decide. And if so, you can compromise. Is this somebody that you want to help unpack those potential deeper rooted issues with, on why they maybe don't feel this way, if this is because of something, or maybe it's just who they are. But you kind of have to decide if you're going to keep going and try and get to know that person and seeing what goes from there.
Right, because I think one thing people don't, and this is where I get defensive, please don't disregard love languages. I feel like it's been turned into something where typically, I'm not saying all, but typically more so men will disregard it. They talk about it the same way as horoscopes, where they're like, oh, this is made up. But it's a real thing. It's a great way to speak about those important things within a relationship. To kind of categorize them, to make that conversation a little bit easier. So I think it's worth, kind of maybe even sitting down and figuring out for yourself, if you don't already know, what your love languages are, and of all the love languages, what are your top priorities, and the ones that you can kind of maybe give a little bit more on. But that's also part of it. I think, especially anybody new to love languages, when I first started hearing that terminology or just hearing about that, I thought it was just what I like to receive, but the other part of love languages is also what you like to give in the relationship. So clearly, not only do you like getting it in return, which makes it feel like a higher priority of one of your love languages, not only do you like feeling it in return, but you really enjoy giving that physical affection as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sounds like it.
You know,
good for you.
Yeah. And absolutely, like, that's not something to fault yourself on.
No.
Or to...
No, we love you for that. Good job.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And like I said, prioritize those things, because maybe the things that aren't quite as important to you, you can kind of compromise on. And I think she should do the same in helping herself kind of unpack what her own love languages are. And like we've said in past episodes, if it's not a match, it's not a match. And it all depends on the willingness of both people in the relationship to of how much they want to compromise or how much they want to work on things.
I feel like my love language, I definitely love to give physical touch. I love to give like a little head scratch or like an arm,
Even the unexpected physical
oh my gosh. Also,
It'll be so random.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I've come up to you before and
But
just
I
like,
love it.
like give your back a quick little,
Oh, I love that.
and you're like, what's up, buddy? And I'm like, nothing.
But sometimes you're also just like touch my cheek or something.
I do.
It's just like a poke or like a. Sometimes you just like need a. I don't
know.
Like the most. It's such a range, but that's one of the things I love about you.
But that's funny. But like our other roommate, she, God bless her soul, she puts up with a lot of my antics, but she definitely is like, I don't like when you do that. So I try not to do it because she doesn't enjoy that in return. So you have to, and I can make that compromise with certain things. And like, especially if somebody else doesn't like to be touched and that's not really their thing, I try and be more understanding of that and like, they'll still do like things like grab, like they'll let me like put my hand on their shoulder when I'm talking, because I definitely do that a lot and stuff like, but I don't go as too much of an extreme and let that full blown, because I know that maybe that's not what they enjoy, but I know I can make that compromise. And with people, and because like to some degree I'm still able to be myself and show my true authentic self, but with some people where I'm not able to do that, it's hard for me to not.
It's hard.
It's really hard. That's something really important. It's how I literally show people I love them without saying it. It's how I let people know I'm talking to them or I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to Bri, I'll put my like hand on her shoulder too, or my hand on like her knee and be like, yes. Like that's how I commute. That's one of my communication styles too. So it's really important to me, and it's difficult for me when it's not being met to deal with it. So, I mean, if it's difficult for you, you need to understand that and maybe look for relationships where to some degree that can be met and your needs can be met too, because it's going to be a two-way street.
Yeah.
Maybe this just isn't the one. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
But as long as you're communicating yourself and you're respecting their boundaries, if they're not there and if they can't do it, if you're not willing to put in that work, which is fine too. That's the thing, is you don't have to, it's okay to walk away as well. If it's not meeting you, it's okay to be selfish if you can't, because I would rather somebody not stick around who can't be what I need them to be as well.
Yeah.
Than be in a relationship they don't want to be in or be somebody they can't be for me.
Right.
So I think you both owe it to each other to maybe have a conversation of where you've done some hard conversations, and I think one that should be done next is, where do you guys see this? And if so, if you see it more long term, well then, okay, we need to talk about a couple of things that are a little bit of an issue for me. And if like, let's just talk, let's just start a conversation. It doesn't need to be immediate change, but I need you to know this.
Right.
So.
Because it sounds like she really needs to figure out where that divide is
and
what wall that is that she's kind of built up as far as her connection with sex and relationships. Because I'm kind of the opposite, where I like I can't have that physical relationship without getting confused and thinking that there's all this emotion that comes along with it too. I've been in a similar spot to you, and so I get where you're coming from. And that's not fair. You know, like you can't, it's not fair to both people. You both deserve to be in a relationship where you are both comfortable and getting the affection that you both deserve and that you want. Because if this is something deeper for her, where there's something that's happened in the past that is making her uncomfortable with this physical affection kind of going any deeper emotionally, that's definitely something she needs to to work through and that she deserves, owes to herself to work through on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's done completely on her own. Maybe it's the end of the relationship for a little while. Maybe it can get back together, but I think there's some growing that needs to be done, whether or not you guys do that together or apart.
Yeah, I agree.
But thank you.
I wish you the best of luck with that. I really do.
It's not for nothing. Even if this ends,
Yeah,
you've at least learned something about yourself. So
100%.
there's still something good to come out of it. It's never easy to end, but I hope that we've helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Or at least validated your feelings that
yes.
sounds like they maybe haven't been validated yet.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for trusting us with this. And if you want to update us, we would love to hear.
Yeah. And you can do that at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com.
Please do.
All right. Why am I not interested in sex and relationships? Okay, very familiar. I'm a 19-year-old female, and I've never liked the idea of anything more intimate than friendships. When I was in my early teens before puberty, I had maybe 1 or 2 crushes, but I don't even think it was a crush, more of a desire to be friends with them. How I feel has never bothered me, but now I'm starting to get pushed to why I'm not in relationships by family and others. Is something wrong with me? Will I grow out of it eventually?
First of all, I feel like I start everything that way. But truly, first of all, there's nothing wrong with you. I promise you.
No, and it's also nobody's business why you're not in a relationship.
100%.
And I hate when family members do that.
I know.
Because my family will do that to me. And it bugs the shit out of me because I don't know why I don't have an interest in it either. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I feel very similar to you. Like, I'll be with people. That's not the problem. But then there's just like this idea of like me having to now include them in my plans and my life plans. And I'm like, do I want them there? Like, I'm watching Impractical Jokers. Like, should you be allowed in that Abby fun time? I don't know. And then like the MySpace. So I feel you on that too. I don't know what it is. Part of me is even considered, I'm like, am I asexual? Do I just not enjoy? But I'm like, but I like sex.
Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, and please, I apologize if I don't have a full understanding of asexual, but from my minimal understanding of it, that could be it. It could just be that you are asexual, which there's nothing fucking wrong with that at all. But it also could just be you're 19. It could be that you are focusing on yourself and which is a good thing too. You are allowed to be focused on yourself and what you're doing in your life and not getting distracted by stupid stuff like sex and relationships. Like, they will have their time if they're meant to, but you don't have to be in one or be obsessed with it or any of that right now. That sounds so freeing, honestly, to not be distracted by that, but sucks that you're not distracted by the relationships, but then have to hear from everybody questioning you why you're not into it.
The really frustrating part as well, because also you are 19.
It's a lot to do.
You are not like an old maiden or anything, but it sounds like your family's treating you like that. Like they haven't married you off to a prospect yet. Like, I don't even understand that you're 19.
Yeah.
I'm like, literally, if you were my kid, I'd probably be a little relieved because I do not want to be worried about that shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so real with you. You would be like my favorite child, to be honest with you. I would be like, oh, thank God. She's just reading. It's fine. No, I'm just joking. But it's also, everybody has their own time frame. And a lot of people haven't gotten into relationships until they're way older as well, because it's just not a priority in their life too. Maybe that's not where you're at, and maybe that's not what you need. I feel like you would know better than anybody if you wanted a relationship, and it sounds like you're very in tune with your feelings. So I don't think there's anything wrong with you or the way you're feeling. Also, sexuality also isn't that black and white anymore. There's a lot of in between, and that's why, because even with myself, I truly don't understand, and it's something for me to continue to look into. But I feel the same way. I don't understand why I don't have this strong desire to be in a relationship. Like, I do hope it happens one day. However, I'm not jumping, putting myself out there all the time. I kind of realized, it's just not, there's so much to understand about ourselves now, and you not being interested in the sexualness of a relationship or even just being in one, I don't think is that weird or that uncommon. I think if you put yourself a little bit out there and did a little bit more research, you would find that how you feel is really common.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, more power to you. Like, put the emphasis on friendships and yourself and your own accomplishments and just your goals and what you're doing, because that is what's most important. And if you ever feel like you want to be in a relationship, you're going to have yourself so fucking figured out that it's going to be a strong one.
Yeah.
Most likely.
You might even do it on the first try at this point. No.
And I will say, I used to be annoyed when I was younger. People would tell me, they were like, oh my gosh, you are totally going to end up being one of those people that marries the first person that you date. And I hated that. And I don't 100% know why. I think it was like, well, are you saying I'm going to settle?
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know how to take this, but how do you, when you say to people, what do you mean? So maybe they just meant that you were going to be maybe similar to the reader, where look for a really deep understanding of yourself and knowing what you want. Maybe you'll just know the partner you need. I hope so. Another vulnerable moment. I also have never been in a relationship. I'm 30, y'all, and I have never been in an actual relationship. I've dated, but even that started late. I didn't really start dating until like early to mid 20s. So, girl, you're fine.
Well, yeah, I'm 26, and I would say, yeah.
Well, and that's, I want to say that just to make anybody else that's in a similar situation feel better about themselves, because you're not alone, and also there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not settling.
No.
I'm not going to waste my time with some stupid man who's not worth my time.
No, not at all. Because if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Life is too fucking short to settle for anybody, or even put yourself in a position so you're pleasing other people. Like, I always hate when families say that. So I'm like, do you just want me to be in a relationship with the first person I see so you feel better? And they could be super shitty and not be what I want at all. Like, right. Are you that focused on me, just like you being able to brag about me being in a relationship, or like you feel better that I won't be alone? I'd rather be alone than be in a terrible relationship. Let me take my time and figure that out without the pressure of you.
Exactly.
Because I'm still trying to figure out what I need.
Yeah, maybe it's to those people that I'd be like, do you just want me to settle?
Well, seriously, why would a family want that? I would literally want to tell my son or my daughter, whomever they are, that I would rather you take the time, find somebody that respects you, wants you to be your true authentic self, likes you for you, listens to you vice versa, like you just have a good time with, and that will make me happy. When you do it, isn't necessarily a priority. I would love it to be in my lifetime so I could see it, but if not, I just want to leave this earth knowing that if you are in a relationship, that you're loved and you're well received and you're happy and you're safe, and if not, that you're still happy. As long as you're doing you and you're good.
Yeah. Because don't get into anything before you're ready or before you want to.
Because it's you who's got to deal with it. They don't have to be in the relationship. You do.
Yeah. And honestly, being in relationships or being married and having kids is not the end all be all. And that is not what everybody...
And it's not the only life you can live.
Right. Look at how happy Jennifer Aniston is. She doesn't have kids.
Yeah,
she treats her projects and her work
like her babies.
Like her babies, and she has lots of accomplishments, and she is a great person. I think I don't know her personally. I wish I did. But
Bri, do you like Jennifer Aniston? I'm getting a vibe that you might like Jennifer Aniston.
I really like Jennifer Aniston.
I call her Jennifer.
I call her Jen.
Oh yeah. I call her Jay. Ann. I call her Aunt. Annie. Stin for short.
But truly,
I win.
Whatever, I'm gonna text her about this later.
Oh, fuck you.
But if our rambling tells you anything, it's hopefully there is nothing wrong with you. You are doing great, honestly, and you are doing exactly what you should. Hold strong to how you feel. Don't let anybody's questions of why aren't you in a relationship. I will say that is for me at least, it still has not quite gotten easier when people ask you that, or when they're like, do you have a boyfriend or do you have a partner? And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, how? It's always
like pretty easy, Alex. I wake up every day and I go to bed. It's not as hard as you're thinking it is.
Never not annoying.
And it's such a business.
Right.
Oh my God.
But you do you and do the best for you, because you're, like we've said before too, your worth is not if you are in a relationship or not. That is not how you judge that. You are focusing on yourself, and that's not a bad thing. Figure yourself out. And if you ever feel like you want to be in a relationship, that's when you're going to start trying to do that. And you're going to start putting yourself out there for that. But you're doing nothing wrong, you know?
It's also in your best interest too to not be opposed to the idea that maybe you don't see people like that. Maybe you don't see relationships like that. That's perfectly fine and that's perfectly valid. But I think it would be helpful too to do a little bit of soul searching there so that you can at least begin to surround yourself with like-minded individuals so you don't feel so alone. Because as I was saying, I think you'll find, well, you won't find, maybe after talking to Bri and I, that the way you feel isn't really uncommon. I mean, my aunt has never married and she's lived a very like amazing life, like travels the world, has done so much volunteer work. She's a wonderful woman, a very fulfilled life, has really just owned her shit. Like she's a boss bitch for sure. I admire her so much, and she's done a lot of it alone. And you can too if you want to. She does not strike me at all as lonely. In fact,
yeah,
she's what has helped me, I feel like, be okay with being single in my 20s as well, because I do a lot of what I want. And I know that when I do meet somebody, it's going to be because I want to be with them, not because I need to be with them. It's because I genuinely want you in my company. And because I know what my peace looks like as well.
Yeah. And they've shown you something to make you think that
you can be a part of that peace.
And that they deserve to be in your life to that extent. There's also something kind of beautiful about your focus being so much more on friendships.
Yes.
That's so important.
It's a deeper connection you look for in people, which is really nice to see, because I think you value people for what they really are, at least try to.
Yeah. You're off to a great start.
And you're young.
Do not fault yourself for not even being interested in it. If anything, you're smarter than the rest of us. I also understand that there's always that other side of not only doubting yourself, but being like, well, why don't I? Like, I like having that, I wish I was into this, or I wish I wanted this. I do that with jobs all the time where I'm like, I wish I knew what it was like to want a normal job.
I don't know if that's what I get from her almost.
I don't either, but just in case that was anything in the background.
I was going to say, I feel like it just comes from her not taking the time to understand herself fully quite yet. Is what
You have time.
And you're also maybe, if not already, out in the real world. Like maybe you chose college, maybe you chose to move out, maybe you're doing whatever, but you're at a time in your life where you're going to start to get to a point where you're on your own a lot more and you're the one who's making those choices for yourself.
And there's so much strength in being able to do all those things alone.
Yeah.
That typically people are afraid to do alone, whether they're bringing a friend with them or a significant other. And then the idea of even something like going to the movies alone, where they're like, oh my God, no, that's so weird. Or no, I could never do that. Why not? I've gone to concerts alone. I've traveled alone. I've gone to movies alone. It's great.
Yeah.
Not having to worry about somebody else.
It's really good me time.
Yeah. And you are about to do so much growing.
Yeah, you're going to...
in the next 10 years.
You're going to learn so much about yourself. Hopefully some of that is what kind of relationships you like and what those relationships look like, if they look like anything.
Right. If they're romantic or just friendships, and those friends becoming like family, you know.
You can feel fulfilled in a lot of different ways that aren't relationships. Like Bri said, They are not the end all be all and like this cusp of happiness, and like we're just programmed to think that we need a significant other, and that's not always the case. Maybe you need to literally be in a relationship with yourself fully. Some people are. Maybe your relationship is strictly with your friends. however that is, as long as you feel happy and fulfilled and you're listening to yourself and you don't feel like you're missing something, I think you're okay.
Right. There's no one way to give or receive love. You don't have to be in a relationship for that.
Snapping quietly for that, because I like that. That's nice. I 100% agree with that statement.
Yeah. You have your own love languages applies to you whether you're in a relationship or not. You have your own love languages and you just haven't felt like you needed to be in a couple to do that. And I promise you, your 20s, from my experience, it's like every 2 years is such a big change and just such a big difference in yourself. When you start looking back, you're going to be like, oh my God, even just from 24 to 20, you're going to be like, wow, I've kind of been a couple different people up to this point. So absolutely give yourself that room to grow and don't
judge yourself too hard too. Don't let yourself fall into the expectations of others, because again, they're not living your life, you are. So live it to make yourself happy and do things as they need to be done, not how other people want you to do them.
Exactly.
Because if that were the case, my family would have had me married and with 6 children by now. I swear to God. If they had it their way.
Yeah, I would have a kid by now if my mom had her way.
Oh my God, you absolutely. I mean, my mom would love those babies, but I would be so fucking tired. And I'm tiny.
There's nothing wrong with not wanting relationships or marriage or kids.
It's literally,
you don't have to want any of it.
It's your life. Live it how you need to and how you want to.
Yeah. As long as you're happy
and enjoy the ride.
Anybody else, that's all that matters.
So we hope that was helpful, or at the very least, I hope that you feel a little bit more seen and don't feel so alone or that something's wrong with you. If that was the only thing we could provide you with today, I'm happy about that. So at the very least, you know that you have 2 people who have felt all of these emotions and are still navigating them ourselves and have different perspectives. So I feel like that should show you at the very least you're definitely not alone in the way you think, and a lot of people can have the same feelings but still have different perspectives. So,
and 2 people who quite honestly are very excited for you. I'm excited to see.
We're definitely rooting for you to do
I think it's
what you need to do.
Yeah.
And if you're happy the way you are. Don't fix what's not broken.
Exactly. No, I think you're about to have a really good 10 years. I wish that for you.
100%.
A lot of growth and 10 years and on.
Yeah, we don't want it to just stop at 30. Like, fuck your life at 30.
No, 30's been great so far. There's a lot of learning. I
think you've been doing really well. You make me excited for 30. Truly.
Good.
I'm so excited for my 30s. But we want you to know we're rooting for you hardcore. We love to see it. If this is what you need to be doing, we stand behind you 100% as 2 women that have definitely navigated our 20s that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't settle. Don't do anything before you need to do it. And
before you want to.
Yeah.
There's no time limit or time.
It's not linear too.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean too? So we hope that helped you, and anybody else that, maybe is looking to feel a little bit more seen, just heard, validated, or just looking for advice, want to talk to us.
That's what we're here to do.
Seriously. And go on tangents.
Yeah.
Just send us an email at rentfreeroommates@gmail.com. We promise we'll read it. We promise we'll talk about it. We talk about everything and then some.
And hopefully within all that talking, we help. That's what we're trying to do.
That's the goal. Maybe we make you laugh. Maybe this is funny now. I'll take that too. But if you don't feel like writing in, you can always show us support in many different ways. We have all social media platforms, so you can definitely subscribe, share us.
Rate us, comment, like we said, subscribe. All those things help us out. And you can find us as well on almost anywhere that you find podcasts. We are on Spotify, Google Podcast, Podbean, Amazon.
Are we on Pandora?
I'm still waiting on Pandora, but they send me emails. I'm like, I don't care.
Okay, well, I don't want to talk to you then.
Yeah. Don't tell me about that stuff.
Lose this number.
Until we're on Pandora.
Oh my fucking God. Lose this number.
I don't care until I'm.
So yeah, I guess you can't listen to us there, guys.
But so many other places.
Yeah.
And if you want to see that list.
And only 80-year-olds listen to Pandora. Just kidding.
Website. Just alienate all the older people.
I was going to say, I'm so sorry to everybody. If you're 80 and you listen, it's cool if you listen to Pandora.
It's actually really cool if you listen to our podcast and you're
Yeah, even cooler actually. So
Let
I
us know.
fuck with you. So I take it back. But anyway, I digress.
We accept all roomies of every age, size, gender, or non-gender. Everybody. You're all welcome. We want all the roomies.
Get in here. Come on in.
But until then, we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.